Wanda just told me this is COVID productions, because any other time we would be sitting in our studio normally. This is a hot
I know.
mess. But
It's
anyway,
like
thank you guys.
I feel like I'm doing it at home, literally, like I'm
I
doing it
know, like
myself.
this is crazy, but thank you for bearing with us. So Tracey,
Yes.
I have read, yes, we can hear you. So again, if I start my question, prior to you coming up with the brainchild of being Bobby Brown, were you interested in television production or movies or anything like that?
Yes. So before that, I've been in the business over 26 years, almost 27 years.
You
So
don't look old
before,
enough to be that, but okay.
I
You don't look
know.
old enough to black don't crack. Keep going, girl.
Yeah, thank God. So before that, I initially started in the music industry and then segued into producing music videos and commercials. So and in that space, I did a lot of people's first music videos like Brandy and Monica, Immature, Montel Jordan, work with Nas, like just tons of big hip hop artists, Arrested Development. And then the director that I worked with, we segued into doing commercials and we literally launched the Obey Your Thirst campaigns. We did the Pete Rock and CL Smooth, the KRS-One and MC Shan in the big boxing ring.
Mhm.
And then from there, I was developing, hoping to go into scripted television. And, the short story of it is I was in LA for a bit, did an independent film, and Wanda, who was my producing partner on Being Bobby Brown and several other things subsequently after that, she actually was my first investor in an independent film that I produced. And then when I moved back to Atlanta, we started a company together. And then basically that's when we actually were developing shows and other film projects when we sort of got caught into this news of Bobby and Whitney every day in Atlanta. They got a speeding ticket. I think he got arrested, this, that, and the other. And just sort of from there, and I had met a couple of people who like were telling me these cute little stories about them because they literally lived in our neighborhood. Not that we really saw them, but they lived in our neighborhood. And I just was like, maybe they could do a reality show. I was really into the Osbournes and Nick and Jessica at the time. And our legal team was sort of like, that's a great idea, but it's also very far fetched. And Wanda is actually from Atlanta. And she was like, look, I'm from Atlanta. They're in Atlanta, 6 degrees of separation because this is my town. Well, we can get in touch with them. And we didn't know them or anything, but we reached out and was able through a spiritual advisor or something to get to meet Bobby's brother and was able to pitch the idea to him, which he didn't just say yes, but ultimately he was open to us presenting it to Bobby. And then that's how we segued into it. Not having done anything like that before, but really just using my knowledge of production, moving forward and just saying, okay, we're going to go for it and try it. And we had an investor, we had funding, and we just basically started making a show.
Tracey, can I ask you, were you surprised at how open, actually both of them, but specifically Whitney was during that whole process? So how much she let her guard down and really let people see, I guess both of you guys, because you were both on that project.
Yeah, I think we were definitely surprised, especially initially, like the first time even meeting her, when she was like, Wendy's actually a very humble person. So her initial even interaction was like, hi, I'm Whitney. And we're like, you're Whitney Houston, lady. you know?
Right.
So she wasn't like, who are these people? And she was really like open and joyful. And basically we were surprised, but we made a good we had a good partnership and we made a good connection with them. Initially, I think I had more of a connection with Bobby. And not that I didn't have one with Whitney, but it was sort of like we tag teamed the situation. And Wanda would, do more things with Whitney and, and things like that. But honestly, we also opened the door for freedom. Like, it wasn't like, oh, we're producing a show and we're going to give you some beats and tell you what to say every day. It really was, hey, what do y'all have going on? We're going to bring the cameras and see what it is.
Right.
Boy, it looked like that.
Wonder, right. So, but it was a true reality show.
It was a true reality show. Like, it literally looked like that.
I'm like, Wanda,
she's being modest, guys.
But I mean,
she's being modest. Like I was going to say she's being modest. It was being Bobby Brown for a reason. So we wasn't really counting on Whitney or even expecting her, to be honest. So we were shocked just because, you know, it was about him. You know, we wanted to understand more about him. We thought Whitney was much like us. And we wanted to know, like, what is it about Bobby? Like, there's got to be more to Bobby than what we're seeing on television, on the 5 o'clock news every day. There has to be more to this guy. So we really wasn't expecting her. So I would say I was shocked, you know, that she wanted to participate. But of course, she was like, I'm his wife, you know, and he's a husband. So, I mean, it definitely made sense.
Mm-hmm. So, Wanda, you're from Atlanta. So I'm not from, but I've lived here for years. I've actually met Bobby before. I'm sure Yama has too. So going into this,
they came to Dad's show in Atlanta, and sat on the stage, and I sat right next to him when they were dating. So it was.
So knowing when you're here, you hear all the crazy stuff. Like, I used to see them at Cumberland Mall. Like, it was crazy. Wanda, so going in, did you think it was going to be as crazy as it was?
Absolutely not. I would say I knew Bobby was going to be an interesting character, but basically for me, where Whitney was concerned, I mean, I only knew, you know, Whitney Houston, the artist, you know, how she was musically and how she was so poised and graceful. So I didn't know the homegirl side to her or what have you. So doing the show with her allowed us the opportunity to meet, you know, Whitney, the human being, you know, Whitney, the homegirl, Whitney, the around the way girl. So I think for Tracey and myself, we got to see a side of Whitney that both she and I didn't know. So that was very interesting too.
Yeah.
What a blessing to be able to have worked with her, you know, in that space.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes. Because it's a blessing because she was very humble and not, I mean, it's kind of interesting because they flag these people as divas, but Whitney was just like super like mad cool and just like very sweet. She loves kids. She was very kind to her children who were around during, you know, all the filming and everything. And she was just like, she was just great. She was just like, whoa, you know.
Yeah.
And even afterwards, like we didn't fall, like after we finished filming the show and years later, it was always, are you coming to my birthday dinner, you know, and things like that. It was never a situation where it was like, you made me look bad or how could you. She literally like trusted us, and honestly they watched the show for the first time with us on television. And then I was nervous, and when they called and they said, hey, and I was like, what's up? Like, oh God. And she's like, we funny.
Wow. Then you breathed again. You were like,
yeah.
Like, yeah, you are. And she was like, all right, it's cool. I can't wait to see the next episode.
But I feel like it was, I want to say it was like Yama said, when I said like it was clearly real, because it didn't, compared to reality TV now, that's what made it so great. And you really felt like it was really reality because it wasn't too polished where it looked fake. And it was really, and it reminded me, because I love the Osbournes too. So it literally reminded me of those kinds of days when it was really like real in these people's lives. And it was like one, especially for African Americans, because we had, of course, Nick and Jessica, and we had the Osbournes, but I don't ever remember anyone, an African American family or anybody before being Bobby Brown. Like that was the first of its kind. And then all of a sudden you had
we was all like this watching it, like what?
Yeah, because it was really authentic. It didn't, and I think the thing about it is it just speaks to their relationship. I mean, some people could call it a train wreck. Some people could call, but I think the reality of it is that it's real. Lots of people's relationships are train wrecks on a Wednesday. Like, it don't matter. It was their real, you know what I'm saying? Their real life, their real relationship. Like, people just want the polish, and she was a real person from Newark. Like, y'all, come on. She can just put on a gown and be fabulous and sing her ass off, but then that's that. You know what I mean? So I really appreciated that. And I wish that reality TV would kind of come back to that. Because I just feel like it really looks really fake now, even though I watch it. But in comparison, like, I love the Osbournes and Being Bobby Brown. I remember it like it was yesterday. So why do you think that? Why do you think it transformed so much? Why do you think reality TV transformed so much to the point? And this question for you as well, Wanda, to the point where it looks really scripted, even if it's not. I think the scenarios are so set up, and people are so savvy now, television savvy, that it doesn't feel as authentic.
Yeah, I think one, it has to do with money, because people want to control the budget. So they want to be, you know, they want everything to be like, we know what we're going in to do. And I also think, like, you know, you have to be talented to pull that off. Yeah. To be very, very honest, like, Bobby and Whitney could be sitting on the sofa doing nothing, like just chilling. But when we turned those lights and that camera on, they gave us a scene. Because they're like gifted entertainers. They know what they're doing. They know the camera. They know how to work it, and they knew what they wanted. They knew that they wanted to have fun, and they wanted to have fun with this new medium, really, because it was very new at the time. And you're right, there were no other, especially Black families, on television, and they just wanted to just have an experience of sort of seeing what it would feel like for the world to feel them in their natural humor and song and relationship. So they really produce themselves, like they, you know. And I don't think there's a, you know, we meet people all the time, and I'm always like, you know, you're just not going to find people who jump off the screen like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, just to add to what Tracey is saying, they were a dynamic talent. And, you know, just as you may never meet another singer like Whitney Houston, they were great talent, and we could not produce them. I think, furthermore, when you're thinking about production, the amount of time, too, that you have to also spend with people that's per se not as talented as they are to get that level of organic and natural footage is very costly. So I think a lot of what we're seeing today, to the point that Tracey made, is budget constraints. And just, you know, they were great raw talent. And like she said, you know, they come very few and far in between.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did, but I think that that's the thing, though, is that they were actually already stars. And so when you see them, there was no need to put on a pretense and trying to be a star, where a lot of these people on reality shows now are plucked out of obscurity, and now we've got to put on, and I got to have the Louis Vuitton. It just doesn't look real. You know what I mean? Like, I would rather, like, Whitney would be around the house with some sweatpants on, a t-shirt, and a bandana around her head, you know, at the lake.
Right. With no weed.
And it wasn't so pulled up, because I know what I look like when I walk around this house, and it ain't that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, you know what I'm saying? So I just think that that's what it was so appealing about it. But I think that people, like you said, they want money, they want stardom, and you're not coming from a place of already being a star and knowing the camera and knowing that authenticity, you know, always works.
But like you said, that worked only because they were already stars beforehand, and we could see them in that home, you know, environment. If they weren't, we wouldn't have been interested in seeing them.
But think about this. I can think of one person that was plucked out of obscurity that no one knew. And I think the reason why she was so incredibly famous and so incredibly loved and now is super famous is Cardi B. That is why she was liked on Love and Hip Hop.
Yeah.
I didn't know her, but she was so authentic and real, as opposed to everybody else trying to play a part. She was just who she was. And I think sometimes people don't really, like, to me, Nene was popular because Nene was Nene. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and I knew her, I've been in her presence prior to Real Housewives. So that was literally Nene. Now, as the show has transformed, it's become a little bit more pulled together, and I'm fabulous. But Nene was a star because when Real Housewives started, it was like, I'm just gonna be myself. And that's why she was so popular. And I think that if some people go back to that,
yeah,
you know, it can be refreshing in the reality, you know, TV realm. So after that experience, I mean, I see you've done other, I don't want to call them reality. They're reality based, but it's a little different. How did you, I guess, go from that to doing like scripted things or documentaries or things like that? Was that always your interest?
Yeah. So yeah, it was always my interest to do. I mean, look, reality wasn't even when I first started in the business, it didn't even exist. So that was never the goal. It really was like, oh, these people are doing these shows. They're called reality shows. What if we could do a show with Bobby and Whitney? So I always want, you know, I am a storyteller at heart. I love story. I read a lot. And so it's always, and that's still the dream, is to do other things outside of reality, you know, biopics and, you know, ultimately, eventually scripted television. So that was definitely always the goal. But I do get entangled and love real story. So sometimes it's like, I want to do this, but I wanted to. So I do like the biopic world because it's rooted in a real story or a real person's story at the same time.
So what do you guys, I see, is there a film festival going on, correct? Because they're going to be playing Being
Yeah.
Bobby Brown, correct?
Yes, the Peachtree. Yeah.
So can you let our listeners know about the film festival and if they can even, can they participate in watching Being Bobby Brown?
Yes. So this year, the festival is virtual. It's the Peachtree International Video and Film Festival. And they are going to air the premiere episode of the show, just like as a celebration of one is the 15-year anniversary of the festival. And it's also the 15-year anniversary of our show, Being Bobby Brown.
Wow.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's just cool to be trailblazers, ladies. And, you know, a little Black girl magic. So what do you guys have? What do both of you guys have coming up next? You know, after the film festival, and all this stuff is, you know, over.
Right.
Because I'm sure it's hard to, I don't know if it's hard to, we're in COVID, so I don't know how projects work now. I don't know how that goes. So yeah. What's up next?
It is hard to work in COVID, but we're all managing it. So we have I'm actually coming back to Atlanta to work as one of the executive producers on the T.I. and Tiny. They're coming back for a second season. Actually, this will be the 10th season. It's the 4th season with the Friends and Family, but 10th season overall. So it's another dynamic family. But also together, we actually have some other projects that we are developing, something in the social justice space, looking at, you know, the underserved and marginalized women who are affected by police or gun violence. There's a show that we just recently developed and we're out pitching. And then we have a few other things that we're in development on and working on a couple more biopics that we'd like to. We did a biopic on Bobby Christina. And now we're actually working on some other things in that space. And then Wanda can share what we're doing in the travel event space and in the space for Black women and girls.
Yeah. And so basically right now I'm consulting on a television project. It's a car show. And we are also working on, in the traveling event space, we're working with a company to help do branded content so that right now, like in COVID, people can't go travel as much, but we want to create branded content so people can still be kind of immersed in that world. So when COVID is over, finally, hopefully, that they will be inspired to travel again. As well as I've been working on a platform. It's called New Generation Girls. It's for adolescent girls. It's kind of my love letter to girls. It's creating content for them because my feelings is we need balance on television right now. And I always say that girls can't be what they can't see. So that's something that we've been working on now for about 5 years. So hopefully we plan to launch that platform in 2021.
Please.
Well, that's awesome, you guys. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much
I love both
for coming
of
on.
those. I got a project for both of y'all. I need to get in touch with both of y'all. One for you and one for you.
Yama always has projects.
Oh yes, baby.
She always has projects.
We got a book, so we got a biopic, and we got something for some girls. So
okay, good.
Well, thank you guys. You guys come back anytime with any new projects. Yeah, definitely.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Y'all have a great evening.
You too. Thank you. Thanks, ladies.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.